hi everyone. Welcome back to another step-by-step lesson. My name is Kim and I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about choosing a secure password. It's more important than you might think. If someone guesses your password, they have basically gotten into your entire life. Not only your social media sites, but your banking, your photos if you store them online, etc. So it's really important to really pick a very secure password and don't use the same password for all sites. My tips here that I'm going to give you are going a little overboard, some may say, but if you take a little bit of what I'm saying and apply it to how you choose your passwords now, hopefully it'll help you create a new way of looking at it and allow you to come up with a more secure group of passwords actually. So let's get started. Why does it matter? Your online life is potentially a way into your real life. If someone can guess your password, they'll have access to the sites that you visit. It's not just about taking over your Facebook account. They can take over your bank account too. They can take your identity. What makes a secure password? Well, the first thing is one that's not easily guessed. Don't use your kids' names and your dog's names, street you live on. A secure password has a mixture of numbers and letters. Has a mixture of capital and lowercase letters. And you don't have to put the capital at the beginning. You could stick capitals in the middle, at the end, anywhere. You can have a bunch of random capitals. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else but you. Add in a character to confuse them even more, like a number sign or an and sign. But whatever you do, make sure your password is something you will remember. If you forget it, then you're going to be locked out of all your stuff. That would not be good. Okay, things you should do. Use two-factor authentication if it's offered. So like it'll send you a code to your cell phone that you need to type in or something like that. Give fake answers to the security questions. And always use the same fake answers so you don't forget them. I have a little document that I have in my computer. It's password protected, but I use OneNote. And it has the answers to my questions. I don't put the question necessarily in there, but just the answers, and I know which ones they go to. Use a long password, at least 10 characters. You know, I know it sounds crazy, and I know it sounds like it's a lot to remember, but it's worth it. Use a unique and secure email address for password recovery. So, I have a personal email that I don't give out. And I use that one specifically for these types of things. So it doesn't get filled with spam. I don't use it for anything other than password recovery, really, and notifications that are important. So you can have as many email addresses as you want. And I actually encourage you to have more than one, because if one happens to go down or something, then you have the other one. Come up with a password creation scheme to make it easier to remember your passwords. I'm going to show you an example. Like I said, it's a little over the top, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, so things you should not do. Don't use the same password for multiple accounts. Now, I do have one junk account that I use for junk websites that I could care less if anybody gets that password. It's only for stuff I could care less about. And when they force you to sign up for something, I never check that email. So I have a junk email with a junk password, and I use it only on sites that I could care less. And like I said, I never read that email. There's 9 million emails in there. It's just a Yahoo email account, and I don't care. I never look at it. Do not use a dictionary word as your password. So don't pick just a regular word and have that as your password. Someone can guess it. Do not use a standard number substitution. So like if you add numbers to take over letters, everyone uses a 5 for an S and a 0 for an O. So you don't want to do that because everyone's doing that. Those are easily guessed. Don't use a short password, even if it's obscure. So here's a little chart I came up with. So here's an insecure password. It has a capital at the beginning and a number at the back. And this is just a regular dictionary word. Well, it's 2 words, but. So a little bit better is if I throw in some random capitalization. And I substituted the Y for a 4 instead of having the 4 at the end. So even better. Okay, this looks crazy, I understand. But I've added some symbols in there. And a couple things at the end. No one's going to guess this. Okay? So here's cookies. Cookies is a normal word. All I did was add a capital S. So that's not a very secure password. This is a little better. I switched one of those O's for a 0. Even though I said not to do that, it's better than this. And I have a capital K and a capital S. Well, I had a capital S here. And I added the exclamation point. So even better. So here you go. I added some exclamation points. I turned the I into an exclamation point, and I put some dollar signs at the end. So it just makes it more difficult for someone to guess. Here we go. Here's an insecure one. I've got some numbers and letters and capitals and small lowercase, which is what everyone says to do, but somebody can actually guess that. Here, all I did was add some capital letters in different places, so it's harder to guess. And here I've added some symbols, and I replaced some numbers for the letters. So basically, the more complex the password is, the more different types of letters and numbers and characters, the better. You know, type it a few times, you're going to remember it. At first, you're going to be like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? But once you type it a few times, it gets into muscle memory and you'll be fine. A phrase can also make a good password. I want to go home. So you'll see what I did here. Instead of the letter I, wrote I underscore to in between the word and the capital W, and instead of an A, I made it an at, the, what is this thing called? I can't even think what it's called. Anyway, that thing. And then another underscore, and then 2, and then the G, and the 0, home. So that would be a really good password. No one's going to guess that. And after you type it a few times, you're going to remember it. What about this one? Time for happy hour. Same kind of thing. So I've changed up the word spelling a little bit for happy. Here I just added some capitals in weird places and a number. So, yeah. Okay. How will you remember which password you created for each site and account? So, this is what I personally do. I know it's a little bit overboard, but just go follow it with me here. Okay, so make a base password that is used for every non-financial account. You can pick any word. It doesn't matter what word it is. And make a different base password that is used for financial accounts. So this is kind of like the root of your password. We're going to add on to it, but the root is going to be the same for all of them. I'll show you some examples in a minute. So you add something onto the front or end of the base password to differentiate it between sites and accounts. I'll show you. These long, secure passwords may seem hard to remember, but once you type them a few times, it gets easier. Okay, so here's some examples for a non-financial website. So let's say this is what we've decided as our base password. So this is going to be in every single, this is the root of the password for every non-financial website I go to. Okay, so for Facebook, let's add an FB to the beginning. So there is my base, and here is what I've a prefix that I added so that this one will be used for Facebook. And okay, Twitter. Instead of saying Twitter or something, let's put bird. So for us, we're going to know that bird means Twitter. And I typed it kind of strange with capital I, capital R, and I put that at the beginning of my root. So here's, this never changes, this always changes. Okay, So all you need to do is add something that makes sense to you. So something that you're going to remember for that site. Okay, so for financial websites, let's use the I want to go home phrase. So for our banks, so it's worth typing in a few extra characters to secure our money, right? Okay, so this is our base. So for Bank of America, maybe I just want to add a bunch of money. So I remember that all my money's in Bank of America. So I'm going to put that at the beginning of I want to go home. I really don't have money in Bank of America, but there you go. Here's Prudential Financial. Okay, Prudential is the rock. So I put the rock at the beginning and then my long base password. So hopefully you get the idea. This way you only really need to remember the part that you added to the base password, because your base password will always be the same. So you'll only have to remember 2 base passwords. You'll have your non-financial base password and your financial base password. And then you just have to remember what you added at the beginning, or you could add to the end if you'd rather. So here we go. Hopefully you get the idea. You only need to remember the part that you added to the base password. You can even have a password protected file where you keep the prefixes, but don't put the base password there. So that's another thing to mention. You don't want the key and the lock in the same spot. So your base password, save one place. Your prefixes or suffixes, whatever you add, you save that somewhere else. So if you're going to create a document, don't put it together. There are apps you can use to save passwords. I don't use them. I really don't trust them 100%. So anything online can be hacked. That's my opinion. But anyway, some people swear by them. So it's up to you what your comfort level is. Okay, so I hope you have some great ideas in mind of what you're going to do to create your nice secure password. I will be doing another video about passwords, but this is so important because if someone hacks into your account, any account, and you use the same password in multiple spots, you've basically given them access to all those other websites also. So if you use the same password for your bank as you do for Facebook and shopping on eBay, if it gets one place gets hacked, they have your login and your password that they can use at all your sites that you visit. And they don't even have to know if you've ever been there before. They have bots that will go automatically try them. So yeah, it's really important to have a really great secure password. So hopefully I've inspired you to go create one and start using it. It sounds daunting, and yes, my plan is a little over the top, but you know what? I think it's worth it. So there you go. I hope that you like this video. Please click like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.